Hard to believe it's already week 8 in the NFL. We are halfway through the fantasy regular season. So tonight we're going to be doing some first half awards. We're going to load them up into the roulette wheel, do some awards. We're also going to be doing some projections or some guesses for the second half of the season. The Underdog Pick'ems this week is for the birds and our forgotten fantasy player, of course, if Ryan remembered to bring it this time. If not, we'll figure out something. And, of course, the nonsense draft as usual. Stay tuned.
Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What is up, and welcome to episode 439 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I'm your host, of course, Geoff Lambert, here with my two co-hosts tonight. Of course, we're here every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. And, of course, you can find everything over at goingfor2.com. Of course, I'm here with my guys for tonight. What's up, Chew?
What's up, Jeff? Ryan, just I can't believe we're this far into the season. I mean, a couple of teams that I like, most of the teams that I hate. Panthers above 500, so I mean, it's a weird season.
Yeah, for sure.
Must be nice.
Then there's Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
Dude, just surviving. Surviving the fun football season it is.
At least y'all couldn't lose last week, right?
True. And Lamar's back, so that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, sure. Because I need Zay Flowers this week because I got a ton of buys, and Zay Flowers is going to be starting this week. So I'm glad that Lamar is back. What's up, Albert? Joining the show as always. Appreciate you tuning in. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into the show here. We'll start it off with our nonsense draft as usual.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
As always, Nonsense Draft is brought to you by Fast Draft, the quickest way to draft and win cash in under 5 minutes. Perfect for your lunch break or the coffee line. Use promo code GF2 to get a 100% deposit match up to $50. Double the cash, double the action. Head to fastdraft.com. Use our promo code GF2. Sign up and start winning today. Our Nonsense Draft today, I was telling Chew pre-show that we've been doing this for so long, I'm running out of ideas. So I'm having to, get creative here. And I think we may have done this before, Ryan, way back in the day, possibly, but we're going to do it again. We are drafting the worst things you could find in your trick-or-treat bag. And I'm sure there's plenty of good answers out there. So, Ryan, you got the 101 here. So what's the worst thing you could find in your trick-or-treat bag?
Bite-sized candy. If you're one of those people, those cheap-ass people who give tiny little candy bars that are this big, you're a jerk, your house deserves egged, and you're the worst.
I like how they're called fun size. There ain't nothing fun about a candy bar.
Is it fun? I thought it was bite. Fun's even worse.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're bite size, fun size, depending on what brand. But yeah, I agree 100%.
Don't be cheap. At least get regular size. You should get king size.
For sure. All right, Chew, what you got at the 102?
So this is one that I've gotten a couple of times, and I remember it was just disheartening immediately. Toothbrush.
Yes, for sure.
The oldest person on the street is giving you a toothbrush.
For sure. That is absolutely a good one, for sure. I'm going to go at 103 here, and I think my daughter gets one of these pretty much every year from the same house when she goes trick-or-treating, and it's a little pamphlet about this big that tells you all about the church that they go to and how you need to find God and everything else. I get it. Everybody's religious and has their thing, but that's not the time and place for it. So I wonder if they've ever converted anybody to the religion based on the little book that they put in their trick-or-treat bags.
No Butterfinger, just something to read. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Ryan, 201.
Sorry, I don't know why my mic went mute. I didn't even hit anything. So anything healthy for me. Halloween is about dressing like a fool, eating terribly, and having so much energy your parents have a miserable night.
For sure. For sure.
Getting an apple or some. I'm sure they have like healthy chips or something. Somebody leaves.
Yeah,
You're
granola.
ruining the fun of it. Yeah, you get a granola bar or like sun chips. Get out of here.
Yes, for sure. All right, Chu, you got the 202.
So I'm going to go another thing you can't eat, but I've gotten it a number of times. An unsharpened pencil. It would usually be in the theme of Halloween. It'd have like pumpkins on it or something stupid, but it would be a pencil, which is dumb, and it's unsharpened. So it's like, so you're giving me a chore to then allow me to write things down? No, not happening.
Especially in today's age, too, because who has a pencil sharpener anymore, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
everything like digital these days, for sure. All right, I'm up next here at the 203, and I'm going with pennies. People give out handfuls of
Who
pennies.
does that?
Yeah, I've definitely gotten pennies. My daughter's gotten pennies every year, which is ironic. I don't know if y'all know this. Y'all don't work in the same field as I do, but they're actually getting rid of the penny. They're going to stop making it, and our systems have already started to round up. So if you pay cash, you essentially could be paying 4 or 5 cents more, depending on how much your total is if you just use the card. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think most companies are starting to do that now, where it rounds up to the nearest 5 cents. All right, Ryan, you got your last pick here at the 301.
Dude, that really threw me off. Didn't know this. Also didn't know people gave out. Also didn't know people gave out pennies. That's weird. I'm good with butterscotch candies.
I'm not a fan of scotch.
Nobody likes butterscotch candies. And I know it's gonna come from a sweet 90-year-old lady who you should not egg for giving you these. She thinks it's good, but it's not. I know. It's terrible. I'm sorry, kids.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that one. All right, Chu, you got your last pick here.
So this is kind of a twofer. I know it's not technically the same thing, but it's kind of a spinoff, more or less. Milk Duds or Whoppers. I feel like when you get the massive bag of just mix of candy, that will likely have one of these two. And I feel like it's just a filler of like, it's technically a box that has sugar in it, but it sucks.
Yes, for sure.
I don't dislike it.
I'm okay with Whoppers. I don't like Milk Duds. I don't like how they all stick to your teeth.
I agree. Yeah, Whoppers are cool.
True.
Milk Duds not as much.
Yeah, not as much. All right, I got the last pick here, and I'm going to describe this one because I don't even know what they're called. I'm trying to Google it, and I can't even find what they're called. You know those little candies that have like the little wrapper, like strawberry-looking wrapper?
Oh, yeah.
Bonbons or whatever they are. They're about that.
Oh.
Yeah, like your grandma would give them to you or something.
Those are awesome.
I don't like them at all. I get those things. I'm like, what is this? This is from like 1970. Like, who eats these candies still? Apparently Shu does.
They're called sweet. Oh yeah, strawberry bonbons.
Strawberry
Sweet gourmet strawberry bonbons.
Never knew what they were called.
Yep, that is definitely not one of my favorite candies for sure.
Shout out to both of you for not saying candy corn and getting me triggered.
I like some candy corn.
I love candy corn.
Yeah, I don't mind candy corn. I like to actually eat a lot of it at once, kind of like Tootsie Rolls. I put a lot of it in my mouth, and I don't know.
I had freeze-dried candy corn the other day.
Oh,
it was unreal.
Yeah, I've had the freeze-dried Skittles. They're pretty good too. The sour Skittles freeze-dried.
Yeah, those are so good.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some fantasy stuff.
Let's get ready for Armchair Fantasy Roulette.
All right, I think I made y'all a little too big, and I can't fit on screen.
We have left Geoff behind.
Yeah, let me fix that real quick. There we go. All right, I'm back. All right, so tonight, as I mentioned at the top, we are going to be doing 2 different things at the same time. So we're going to be doing some halfway point awards for fantasy players, and then we're going to be looking forward doing most likely to. So most likely to do something in the next half. As you can see, the board is loaded up there with a couple different graphics. So we're going to go ahead and get it started here and see what our first award is. All right, Career Resurrection. This is a player that we've kind of given up on, and he has shown up all of a sudden and is starting to ball out here for us. And I'm gonna go to you first, Hugh. Give me your Career Resurrection Award player.
So this one was tough because I was really trying to try to see it as a bounce back or see it as like this hasn't been anything until just now. And if I'm going with the latter, it's got to be Quentin Johnston. I mean, unreasonable. Like, I still don't believe it, if I'm being honest, but it's pretty clear he has a defined role as a deep touchdown getter, and it just keeps happening, despite the offensive line just in shambles at this point. But Herbert continues to have enough time to throw him a deep ball at some point in the game, and it's just working. I mean, all of the deficiencies he's had in college, he's sincerely gotten better. He's not great, but he does a couple things pretty well.
Yep. He was on the top of my list as well. I wrote down a couple names in case someone else took him, but yeah, he was definitely on my list. People had all but given up on him, and he's actually showing up pretty good. Ryan, what about you? You got your Career Resurrection Award?
And believe it or not, I actually put notes for the awards tonight. And
Impressive.
I put Javonte Williams. Telling you saying Dallas resurrected somebody's career, wowzers, which we can get back to that later for a different player. But he already has his third best rushing season in his career and the most touchdowns in a season in his career. And we're only halfway through. Like, this is the player we wanted, and that was drafted back in 2022 way too high, like 10th overall.
Yep. Yeah, I had him. He was
Geoff.
my number 2. He was, yeah. I definitely was all over Javonte Williams when he first came out. But yeah, he was my number 2 on the list as well. I figured that y'all two might take those guys. So the number 3 person on my list was given up because he got too fat, and people were calling him Fat Debo. And he changed teams, was coming out to Washington. They weren't sure what he was going to do. And I know he's been injured. He was injured in this past game, but up until that point, he's been probably one of the more consistent players on the Commanders so far this year. Has been really doing well. So if there's a third place guy, I think Debo would be on that list for me. All right, let's get our next award up on the board here. All right, this one is called New Phone Who Dis Award, and this is to a player that changed teams this year and has been playing pretty well. Either he started to play really well when he changed teams, or he continued to play well with his new team. So Ryan, we'll go to you first on this one. Who is your New Phone Who Dis Award player?
We are going back-to-back Dallas Cowboys, and George Pickens is on pace for 1,400 yards this year, 1,600 yards and dozen touchdowns. Absolutely balling in a high-powered offense, and really hasn't had that many fits. Like, this is what you wanted from this player when you saw that 6'5" frame coming out of Georgia.
Absolutely. Yeah, he was definitely on my list as well. And I saw a stat, going a little bit off topic. It showed like the top 10 touchdown scorers in the NFL, and 3 of them are Dallas Cowboys, and they're not named CeeDee Lamb. It's Ferguson, Pickens, and Javonte are all in the top 10 in touchdowns. So, yeah, pretty good one there. You got somebody else there, Chu?
Honestly, it was an immediate George Pickens, and I was like, I need to have someone else. The only other one I could really think of, which is more of a continuation of what he was already doing, was Davante Adams. I mean, especially after the week that he just had, unbelievable. I think that when they added Davante Adams in LA, I think the thought was he's able to kind of be on the outside and be that touchdown getter while Puka just does everything else, just as a target PPR monster. And I think to think of, all right, we are without Puka, which is not out of the realm of possibility considering he's missed some games here and there. He stepped up huge. And I know they hope that Puka's back and that Davante doesn't have to keep doing that. But Davante Adams has found a new home and a good way to end his career in LA.
Yeah, remind me, is 3 TDs in one game a good thing?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yards be damned. 3 TDs is good.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I had Pickens on my list as well. And I had one other player that I talked a lot about in the offseason because I don't want to say I predicted an injury, but he's behind an older running back that had been injury prone in the past. And there was a chance that he could go out for a couple games. And he did. And the guy that stepped into his place, Jordan Mason, for the Vikings, has been doing really well. Of course, he had a pretty good season with the 49ers until he got hurt behind Christian McCaffrey. When he got hurt, he goes to the Vikings. Obviously, Aaron Jones gets hurt. Jordan Mason steps in. I mean, he hasn't been, an RB1 type thing, but you didn't draft him to be that. You probably drafted him as your fourth or fifth running back. And now he's startable, at least until Aaron Jones comes back. And potentially, even when he does come back, he'll still be startable. So Jordan Mason was kind of my guy there.
Dude, look at you being like the counselor again, talking about which injuries on a guy, predicting injuries.
Was not predicting him. I was just saying he's been injury prone. His
baked
only
it into projections.
Yeah,
baked it into the projections.
There you go, for sure. That is definitely an analyst way of saying it.
Geoff is a warlock.
All right, next award on the board is the PTSD Award, otherwise known as the Kyle Pitts Award, because we just kept drafting this guy. So, Chew, is there a guy that you've been drafting every single year? Like, this is the year, and now you're getting PTSD about it?
This has been tricky because I don't feel, and this is not a me being better than buying into the same guy over year. There's a couple, there's no one that's really more than 2 years consecutively. I'm just have to blindly pick the person, but there's some that I kind of buy on a little bit, depending on, how they're doing, and other people certainly have. And Jamie will appreciate this one. Roschon Johnson.
Yeah.
So I think we looked at that backfield going into the season, and it was DeAndre Swift. And even before anybody was really buying into Kyle Monangai, it was, DeAndre Swift could not maintain this backfield by himself. And even though the snap share is still floated around 50 to 60%, he has done tremendously well with what he's gotten. And it's been Kyle Monangai stepping up ahead of Roschon Johnson and getting some meaningful touches too. So I really think for a lot of different reasons, it's pretty surprising. But at this point, feeling like Roschon Johnson's kind of slipped past the viable fantasy asset at this point.
Yeah, for sure. I like that pick. And Jamie's in the chat there, so I wonder if he saw that answer. That was
he just disliked so many times on this episode.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, what is your PTSD award?
So I went with a guy similar to Pitts who blew it up their first season, and it's just proved not to be sustainable because he is a statue in the pocket, and that's CJ Stroud. Fool me once. I know you have a good receiver, and that's working out for you, but him, the days at the QB1, it's going to be few and far between. I think you'll see him flirt with it a few times, but him being viewed as the elite, no sir.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good pull. I wasn't even thinking quarterbacks when I was doing this award. That's a good pull. So I have a guy that I drafted in a lot of my dynasty leagues, and I keep buying into him every year. He was injured his first year, then he got suspended in the second year. The third year is going to be it, and that didn't work out. That's Jameson Williams. I love Jameson Williams coming out of college. I still like to watch him. He's still an exciting player when he gets his chances. He's just in that Lions offense. He's buried behind just too many guys, and he's just too boomer bust that you can't trust him into your lineup. He's probably a good best ball player, but not a good, just regular season starter. And I just kept hoping that he would break out, somehow, some way. And I'm getting PTSD from that because I did like him a lot coming out of college.
You want to know what's crazy about Jameson Williams? I know you say the best ball thing. Even his number of boom games, considering where you'd have to draft from best ball, even that has been kind of disappointing. He just disappears almost entirely. It's such a bummer.
Yep, it is such a bummer because he's such an exciting player. I'd love to see him get traded before the deadline to a team where they can actually use him.
Yep. Didn't they just re-sign him?
Did they?
Money? Yeah. They re-upped his money this offseason.
Oh, wow. So he's stuck in that Lions offense.
You got to run with Tesla. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Let's get our next award here. All right. We're getting our first most likely. This is most likely to break out. And Ryan, you weren't here pre-show. This is one that I added after I gave you the show sheet. So I'll go to Chew first to give you a chance if you haven't thought of one already. But most likely to break out in the second half of the season, Chew. Who you got?
This is pretty tough because I'm trying to think of the ones, is it breaking out because it's been just unimpressive performances thus far or injuries in the way or that sort of thing. I think someone who could is going to be Woody Marks. And the tricky thing is it's not because the offense is tremendous. I just think we've only really seen the one game where he really stepped up and got 20 plus touches, I think it was. But everything else has been less than that. And I think we think about it more fondly than it really was thus far in the season. But I'm hard pressed to think that they don't get him more involved, given his skill set and given the fact that, with all due respect to Nick Chubb, they know he's not the future, and they just really need to figure out who the playmakers are there. And I think Woody Marks is at least a part of the future going forward.
Yeah, I like that call. I hadn't even considered him, but good call on that one. What about you, Ryan? Most likely to break out?
So I'm going kind of deeper on this, like not to like a star, but like a viable fantasy option, and it's Troy Franklin. I think the targets are starting to ramp up. He had a season high 10 targets this year. He's had over 5 all but 2 games. He's getting more and more involved. The yards and touchdowns aren't quite there yet, but all the background numbers are.
Yeah, I like that one. That's a good one. So I had two rookies on my list, 2 rookie receivers actually, and I'll just name both of them. The first one I think is Matthew Golden, and we've started to see some hints of him, starting to come along a little bit. He's getting a little bit more targets, getting a little bit more involved in the offense. Super exciting player. I think the Packers find a way to feature him more eventually in the second half of the season. So I think Matthew Golden is definitely primed for a breakout. And the other one's a little bit more of a long shot because it's going to take some things happening in front of him. But Luther Burden for Chicago, that offense has been really good. DJ Moore is an afterthought pretty much now. I think Burden can step in there. Is he going to end up being a top receiver for your second half of the season? No, but I think he will be startable at some point this season for you. So Luther Burden was the other one I had on my list.
And I hope this is not too much of a dynasty manager reaction, but they need to trade DJ Moore.
I agree.
If they're not, like, I know the contract, might not be the easiest thing to do, but it might maybe eat some money, trade him away. And he's still 28, I think, not even 29 yet. Just trade him.
Yep, I agree. He's still got some good years. So yeah, I would try to trade him if I was the Bears for sure. All right. Topic is the Benjamin Button Award. This is going out to the old guys that are showing up here. Guys that we thought were probably going to be done, but have been stepping up here and still being fantasy viable. I'll go to you first this time, Ryan.
There's only one name in this, and it's Keenan Allen. Come on, dude. We wrote him off as dead last year in Chicago. He came back home and star again. We're talking top 10 right now.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen. Not he's just come to play a little bit of football and he's wide receiver 7.
Yeah, it's insane. It's
the only option.
He was at the very top of my list. I had to put another name just to put one because I knew that was going to be picked. But I'll go to you first, Hugh. Do you have another name that you had besides Keenan Allen?
This is like the Pickens question earlier. Keenan Allen was the first one I wrote down, but I was like, I need to come up with one more. And it's Joe Flacco. I mean, it hasn't been a season-long thing, obviously. It was maybe more impressive that we watch him within the same season plummet to the depths of, oh, that's what a 40-year-old quarterback should look like. And then you see him go to Cincinnati where he gets arguably, the best duo, a wide receiver duo in the NFL. And I mean, again, the offensive line is not really any better. There's a lot of things that are still terrible about the team. But he's like, yeah, I've played quarterback before. If you're going to let me throw to 2 of the best people in the league, I'll figure it out. And he's looked tremendous so far. Again, it's small sample, whatever, but I'm optimistic that he can at least piece some wins together. And who knows, by the time they make it to, week 17 or so and Joe Burrow's back, what does that look like? I don't know, but I think it'll be another interesting season for the Bengals.
Yeah, it'll be a fun ride.
Joe Flacco still elite, baby.
Yeah, I also had one name written down too, and he really only had a couple games. He was down a little bit last game, but he's also coming off a major injury, and he's an older wide receiver. Stephon Diggs for the Patriots has definitely been usable. I know for two straight weeks there, he was like their number 1 receiver by far. Took a step back last week, but I think he can definitely get back in there, especially, like I said, coming off a major injury. No one thought he can even do it anymore, and here he is out here still doing it after an injury at his age. So, but yeah, Keenan Allen's award for sure. All right, let's see what I got next. Most likely to be a first-round pick next season. So obviously this could go a lot of different ways, but we're trying to avoid the guys that we kind of already know are going to be in that first-round pick. Guys that maybe were picked third, fourth, or even guys that are picked later than that are going to be popular picks next year to be a first round pick solidly in the first round. And I'll go to you first, Chew, on this one. Who do you have most likely to be a first round pick next year?
This is tough because I really tried to not pick someone, looking at just like Fantasy Pros ADP to try to remind myself, what was the kind of the consensus looking at. And I was trying not to pick someone who's like, oh, well, they were the 13th pick. So like they were just outside. So I'm going Jackson Smith and Jigba. ADP, he was looking at more so like the third round. And
Yep.
with how consistent he's been, he actually has a number of awards on here for me, depending on how these fall. And it was everything from JSN has ascended to what a lot of people had hoped he eventually would get to. And it was also doing it with the uncertainty of, wait a minute, it's Sam Darnold. Oh, it's a new OC, which I like the OC. And that was the only bit of optimism I had in that offense. And it's not so much of, oh, we're excited about the rushing attack. It's Kenneth Walker is fading into obscurity. Charbonnet has his up and down games, but gets it done. And JSN is just weekly, just a monster and is just fighting being violently attacked on the opponent's sideline bench while being protected by the referee. I mean,
Yeah.
that's protect the first round pick because that's what he's going to be next year in fantasy.
Yeah, I actually had the exact same one on there, and I have some stats written down. He was wide receiver 13 in ADP and 31st overall, like you said, solidly in the third round.
Yep.
And I think I had him in my top 12 because I was a big JSN guy, and I got some heat for it. People like, he's on a top 12 receiver, and the things that you just named, Sam Darnold, and everything that's changing in the offense. And yeah, I still was a believer in JSN. Ryan, what you got for your most likely to be a first round pick next year?
I had him written down, but I have a backup. Emeka Egbuka. Like, especially because it's coming off a rookie season. That rookie premium, that second-year guy who's going to finish in the top 10 season, maybe higher now that there's injuries. He's going to vault up charge.
Absolutely. Yeah, so y'all took both of the ones I had, so I didn't have a third one for this one. I think there's one possibility just off the top of my head that could potentially be in that range, depending how he finishes the end of the season here, and that's Quinshon Judkins. Absolutely had a monster game last week. If he continues on this pace, just putting up monster numbers with pretty much no passing game whatsoever. They know it's going to Quinshon Judkins, and they still can't stop it. So if he continues on this path, he could be a late round, first round pick as well. All right, let's get our next award on the board. Fantasy Receipts Awards. So this is the ones that we got wrong. So if you're on Twitter, you know who Fantasy Receipts are. They like to call out us analysts and say the things that we got wrong and kind of put us on blast. So I'm calling it after that account. This is the award for Fantasy Receipts. So Ryan, who is your Fantasy Receipt player that you got wrong?
I don't get shit wrong.
I knew you were going to say that.
Breece Hall. I thought this was the year, man. We put him with a running quarterback. The Jets, for some reason, said the right things, and you think they're going to play hard-nosed football and turn the ship around based off that running game. Wrong. Never trust Jets players.
Yeah, that should be
done. It's my own stupidity.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. All right, Chew, what do you got for your Fantasy Receipt player?
So it could either be going kind of positive or negative, as in I was more optimistic it didn't work out, or more negative and I'm just looking like an idiot, which is a regular occurrence. But we already talked about Jameson Williams, so I won't bring that one up again. But Dalton Kincaid is one for me where, looking at his usage, it's even I still kind of hold that pessimism of it's not something that is sustainable considering how they use the tight end and what his splits are with, I can't remember the other rookie tight end's name there, and Dawson Knox. Like the usage is not sustainable for him to keep producing like this, but he's done it long enough to where I just didn't see it coming. He was someone who I didn't understand the level of hype when he was coming to the NFL from a fantasy perspective. I know that someone has to catch a pass in Buffalo, but I think they've shown us over the last couple of years, they don't really give a shit who that is.
Yeah.
And it's, for the first half of the season, it's gone really well for Dalton Kincaid. So, he could continue to make have this be a CVS receipt as it gets even longer and longer throughout the season. But yeah, Dalton Kincaid's had a good year.
I like it. I like it. Going with the reverse there. You were wrong about being negative on a player. I like it.
I like that.
My fantasy receipt player is obvious. I talked about him all off season. Jamie talks him in the chat a lot, and it's Keon Coleman. We're staying in Buffalo on this one. I had Keon Coleman as breaking out this year. I thought for sure he's the lead receiver in that offense. They got to throw the ball to somebody, like you said. So why not be Keon Coleman? And after week one, I was victory lapping. I was like, "Yo, it's Keon Coleman breakout year," and it's been absolutely nothing since then. I mean, I think he even got benched at one point because of some off the field stuff, and him and Josh Allen are on the same page, and he's tweeting out things that he's deleting, kind of hinting towards different things. And yeah, he's definitely,
You're not good enough to be a diva, bro.
yeah, exactly. You're not good enough. They're going to end up moving on from you, and you're going to end up out of the NFL if you're not careful, for sure. So yeah, Keon Coleman let me down big time. All right, let's get another one on the board.
Shout out to Fantasy Receipts for keeping people on check.
Yeah, for sure.
Making people really upset.
Yeah. All right.
It's
This one is
entertainment.
most likely to be the fantasy MVP. And I'm taking this as like from this point forward. So anything that's happened up to this point, we're not going to count that. So Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson might still be on the list, but we can't count what they've already done. So from this point forward, Ryan, who is your fantasy MVP?
So this point forward, my fantasy MVP. Gosh, I lost this one. This is in the bottom. Oh, is this the league winner one?
No, not the league winner. This is just likely to be the fantasy MVP.
My bad.
I
You
may
know, I
have
had that.
I may have added
Huh?
it after the fact. I can go to Chew first on this one.
You go to him first. I'm not finding it.
Go ahead,
So
Chew.
mine's probably kind of a boring one, and it is CMC. I mean, to look at what's been done to this point, everybody banging the drum of, there's enough people think like, oh yeah, like if he's healthy, of course he's a top 5 whatever running back, and it's like, but there's enough people so vehemently thinking, yeah, but like he's probably not going to be healthy. And even when it's beginning of the season when it had him questionable, and it's like, God, are we starting this thing over again? It's like,
Mhm.
no, they're being cautious because they don't want to mess it up again, and they don't want to put him out there when he's not ready. And he's stepped up, and while everyone on the team around him, including the quarterback, has just been withering away with injuries, he has stepped up and run and catching passes and doing absolutely everything for this offense. Testament to Shanahan and everything of what they've been able to do, competent quarterback and Mac Jones backing up, but like CMC, it's the boring answer, but he's done well to this point, and he's just going to keep doing it. It's incredible.
Yeah, I like it.
I just didn't scroll down far enough.
All right, what you got,
My
Ryan?
bad. I got Bijan. I think we're just seeing the start of the season, and I feel like he's getting hotter and more touches every week. And minus that 1 week against Carolina, he's finished top 7 every week.
Yeah,
Like, it's coming, dude. And he doesn't have that much volume yet
yeah.
as a rush.
He's still splitting backfield with Tyler Algier, surprisingly. So,
BYU's finest.
yeah, I too
Bijan.
had. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And the other thing, his targets are elite. It's not quite CMC level, but it's elite.
Yeah, I agree. I had Bijan as my likely to be fantasy MVP. So just to be different, I'll take Jonathan Taylor, who is also having a tremendous season. I think he's got 2 games this year already with 3 touchdowns. Leads the NFL, I think, with 11 total. And he's doing it really without getting a ton of targets. I mean, he's still getting targets, but he's not getting Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson type numbers, and has been absolutely balling out. So I had Bijan, but I'll go JT just to be different there. All right. Next topic. Most likely to be on waivers before the playoffs. So these are players that are currently probably on a roster. They may have been dropped in some leagues, but they're definitely going to be on waivers by the time we get to the playoffs. We'll go to you first on this one, Shu.
Well, this is going to be carryover from me complaining about this guy last episode, but Isaiah Pacheco. I know that he got his touchdown, and things are supposed to be all bright and shiny at this point. But Brashard Smith, a guy I was high on, I have an affinity for wide receivers converted into running backs. I don't know why. I just continue to like them. And Pacheco he was not necessarily playing his way out of the role. I think he and Hunt kind of have a similar role. But as we've seen thus far, it's been a lot of they just trust Hunt more, especially in the high leverage situations. And especially seeing that Brashard Smith is entering that Jerick McKinnon type role where it's like they've been searching for that since McKinnon left. And they have it now in a rookie who, again, has the receiving chops as a former receiver, is explosive. And now that this offense is hitting, its stride at the right time, even before Rashee Rice was back, they were, getting on the right track. So I'm really worried about what that means for Pacheco from a volume standpoint, because as a pass catcher, it's nothing there. So,
Done. Yep. Yeah. Pacheco's a good one because, he's everyone thought, last year he was come back from injury. Maybe he can bounce back this year, and it just has not happened. What about you, Ryan? What did you got for your likely to be on waivers before the playoffs?
I might just be saying this because I'm emotional about it, but
just safe space.
Safe space here. Trevion Henderson, dude.
Mm.
What a waste of a freaking draft pick in the 6th round. His teammates are having absurd fumbling issues, and he's still not getting touches.
Yeah.
That gives me zero confidence in him this season, at least.
Yeah, it's been brutal for sure because I have him actually in a couple dynasty leagues too, and I'm like, man, this guy should have all the opportunities in the world, and he's even the ones he's getting, he's not taking advantage of them. He hasn't really, flashed really yet. So yeah, he's a good choice there.
I said cutting him might be a little dramatic, but
yeah. So mine was the preseason darling. Twitter was exploding up about this guy. And he's had a couple good games, but he's had more bad games than he's had good games. I'm going with he gets one name, Bill, and that's Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Everyone was in on him. Everyone thought he was going to be the lead back. He's exciting. He's all this, and that offense, one, hasn't been very good. Two, they continue to use a 3-headed monster no matter what running backs are healthy, and JCM is not the one that they use in the passing game. So he is just not a big part of the offense, and somebody that if he's still on a roster, I think he will be getting cut here pretty soon because he's just not showing anything. And now that Jaden Daniels is going to be missing this next game against the Chiefs, I think they still have the Lions on their schedule. They have, I think, the Bills on their schedule, I believe. So they got some tough teams coming up, and I don't think JSM is going to be able to find his way to fantasy stardom. All right. We got time for some more here.
I don't like calling him JSM. It sounds way too close to JSN, and I'm like,
yeah, you're right. Oops, I closed it off, but it was the what the fuck award, the WTF award. This is a guy that just came out of nowhere, and we were like, what the hell? Where'd this guy come from? We'll go to you first, Ryan, on this one.
Trey Tucker. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's a name nobody spoke of. We already had reservations that offense was going to stink. And it was just going to be Brock Bowers and nobody out. Gently and nobody else. And nope, it's Trey Tucker just absolutely lighting it up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he had that, 45-point game or whatever it was. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, he came out, 8 catches, 145, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's insane.
What?
I've got a dynasty team where I'm tanking, and I started him. And I'm like, shit. That's not open.
That's funny. What about you, Chu? What do you got for your WTF award?
So this is a guy that I was optimistic of him kind of entering the NFL. Wasn't too certain about his situation and kind of when he would get his shot. And I didn't think it would even be this season. But Jackson Dart. I mean, you could go him or Scadaboo, but I was optimistic of he's going to get a Malik Neighbors. The offensive line is improving. Daboll is going to need to save his job, but does that mean that Dart plays this year or not? And he has just been shot out of a cannon. I know we're still in that range of it could kind of fizzle out, and it's just the rookie hype and everything is going to wear off. But I think he's here to stay. I think how they trust him in that offense, what they kind of allow him to do in terms of the runs. But also how good of a passer he is, both downfield and just being efficient and not making too many boneheaded plays. I know he's made a couple, but he's a winner, like a winning football quarterback, but it's also translating to fantasy points. And I think that's not too often you find both of those, certainly a guy this young. So
absolutely. And Jackson Dart was my choice as well. And I looked up his stats and I was like, why is it only showing that he's averaging 17 points a game? And I forgot his first 3 games, he was getting snaps as that change of pace quarterback.
Yep.
So they're counting those first 3 games. So if you exclude those first 3 games, he'd be QB5 in points per game right now, excluding those. So, I mean, yeah, it definitely came out of nowhere. The rushing upside is definitely there. He's the cheat code quarterback that we look for. So yeah, I had him as my top pick there. I had another guy written down, and I don't know if he necessarily came from nowhere because he has been fantasy relevant in the past, but his situation at QB was kind of rough. We thought it was going to be Anthony Richardson, and then we thought, okay, Daniel Jones is there, maybe he gets it. But Michael Pittman, his ADP was 117, and he's just been out, showing up and doing Michael Pittman things that he used to do before when he had a good quarterback or a decent quarterback. So Pittman coming out of sort of nowhere was my second choice beyond Jackson Dart. All right. One is most likely to be the zero RB hero. Now, this is a guy that's, if you're a zero RB person, of course, you wait really late to get the running backs, and you hope that one or two of them pop. And then every year they always point to this guy did it last year, and this guy did it last year. So this is the guy, the late round running back that has popped off, the zero RB hero. We'll go to you first on this one, Chu.
So it depends how late you want to go. I know there's the specific kind of like couple of rounds that is kind of the start for when you would theoretically be looking into getting your first running back for that. But I'm gonna go with somebody who we haven't talked about yet, because we talked about the other two so far that I have, and that's Rachaad White. He's someone who I think once Bucky kind of came into the picture, it's not that he completely, rendered White useless, but it very quickly became Bucky's backfield. And I don't think there was necessarily just the concern of like, oh, Bucky's fragile and he's not going to be able to handle a workload, but it's just the nature of the beast when it comes to the running back position. So sure enough, being able to, if you got Rachaad White late, and likely, certainly if it's redraft, we're not drafting Rachaad White, but you were able to snag him off waivers, and he is paid dividends, and really even beyond Sean Tucker stepping up and him taking a huge role. It's really mostly just been Rachaad White. So who knows how much longer we're going to be without Bucky, but Rachaad White has been doing well in an offense that has just been incredible despite so many injuries.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So there's a lot of those rookie running backs that are behind starters that they drafted above Rachaad White, and Rachaad White's done it before, and he wasn't even talked about as being a good handcuff to have to Bucky Irving, and obviously he's been showing out lately, so that's a good choice there. What about you, Ryan? What do you got for your zero RB hero award?
So I have two. Can I do both names on this? Unless it.
Absolutely. You, do whatever you
First
want,
one.
Ryan.
What'd you say? Do what I want.
Whatever you want.
Sweet. I have Travis Etienne. I think he's plummeted, even though we knew he was going to be the starting running back. Nobody cared. And then I wanted somebody who's started and obviously a backup who we didn't see coming in Rico Dottle.
Yeah, that's a good call too. Rico Dottle's a good one.
It was more of a free agent pickup, so I didn't know if it counted. That's why I had both. But they're both people who were late enough. It proves to that strategy at this point.
Before I give you my pick here, we do have a question in the chat from Galaxy Pickers. He says he's 5-1, 13-team league. Trade Baker for May. He also has Bo Nix. Trying to plan for the rest of the season. Baker's weapons are hurt. Makes me worried. Thanks. Chu, what do you think? Trading Baker Mayfield for Drake May based on the fact that he has no weapons left?
That wouldn't be the only reason I would do this, but I would do this, and I would rather May. Baker's kind of willed himself, despite I feel like some of the commentators giving him shit about, as a runner, they never make it sound like it, looks pretty and he is a runner, but he's a capable runner just to oftentimes kind of move the chains and everything. And May is much more of a athletic, can get it done on the ground runner, can handle some design stuff. And I think that's what's going to flip it for me. Going into the season, I thought that Baker, again, I don't know what the odds looked like, but I thought it was very possible that he's going to be the one that was throwing for the most yards this season. Of course, everyone's been hurt, but he's still done tremendously well and willed his team to a number of victories I think most other quarterbacks would not have been able to do. But Drake May, at least for fantasy, it's weird to say that we already believe in this Patriots offense, but it's going in the right direction. May did well last year with nothing. And you could argue he doesn't have much this year, but it's a lot better than what it was last year.
Yeah, agreed. What about you, Ryan? Baker for May? Are you going that route?
I mean, I feel like it's almost a lateral move, but I'd probably go May just because the rushing upside. And like you said, he has the set running plays designed for him, where Baker's just purely pass. We're fully trusting just passing only, which is a little less predictable.
Yep.
And
And
it just
go ahead.
throwing it out there, if you're making this trade or somebody sent you this, counter with another player involved, so it's not as just lateral because you're really only
Just a
moving.
bet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only like 2 or 3 points a game difference. Find something worthwhile in it.
Yeah, I rarely do a 1-for-1 at the same position because no
No,
one's going to give
Especially
you
quarterback.
yeah, especially quarterback for sure. I try to get something thrown in there if
I
possible,
don't
but
think I ever have.
yeah, it's just not something that you would do because I mean, maybe somebody would just love that player more than you do, but it ends up being the same tier essentially.
Yeah.
And I'll sweep it. I'll go May as well in this just to keep it short. They said all the stuff that needed to be said. And as far as my 0 RB hero, I'm going with Cam Scattaboo, who
Yep.
you mentioned a little bit earlier. Obviously, he wasn't drafted at all unless you had a Giants fan in your league, and he's been obviously playing really well. Played really well against the Eagles, and has been better than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be, one of those players that just couldn't get it done at the NFL level, but he's doing the same things he did in college in the NFL still. So Cam Scattaboo is definitely a 0 RB hero. Let's see. We got time for maybe one more, and then we'll do our underdog props. All right. The award for the disappearing act.
Man, I'm just ending on a negative.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do one more depending how this goes.
I think one should be a specific one. The last one should end on a specific one, which I think I have in mind.
All right. Well, let's do this one and
Yeah.
then have you give that one to us, and then we'll go so that we don't have to trust the wheel. So, disappearing act. Chew. This is a player that started off hot and has disappeared since the beginning of the season. Who's your player?
All right. Well, we've already talked about Ken Coleman, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. But Derrick Henry, for me, he has disappeared, but it kind of in a twist of fate, I am tremendously optimistic about what it looks like for the rest of the season. I think game script has just destroyed game script, and the fact that it's Cooper Rush has destroyed, what that offense has looked like. I know even when Lamar was playing, Derrick Henry wasn't looking incredible, wasn't looking like the Derrick Henry of last season, quite, but I do think that he will be okay. Again, he may not quite return to the consistent form from last season, but I think the ship will right. I think he'll be a top 12 running back, at worst top 15 running back the rest of the season. That would be PPR. I think the touchdowns are going to come. I think the offense is going to get back on the right track.
Yeah, so we can give him the award at the end of the season of the reappearing act, right? If he comes back. What about
The
you,
prestige.
Ryan?
I took the question just slightly different. I thought it was like a hot start last year and sucked this year. And I went with Brian Thomas.
That is a good
just
one.
Out here breaking hearts. And I thought like everybody viewed him as a top 10. He was going borderline first round, was on such a heater last year. And
yeah, brutal. And I was a big BTJ guy too, and he's really been hurting me. So my player that started off good and disappeared is Travis Etienne, and it extra pisses me off because I went out and traded for him after those first couple of weeks when he was doing really well. I'm like, oh, he's got his job back. He's the starter. He's getting the full workload. And since I had him, he's done absolutely nothing. So yeah, Etienne has definitely disappeared. I'm hoping that he can still recapture some of that in the second half, especially since I traded for him. I always have a hard time dropping players that I traded for. So Etienne, hopefully he can get his act back together. All right, Ryan, which one did you want to end on?
I think we should end on who do we think is going to be the league winners?
Good call. Yeah, so most likely to be called a league winner. And we'll go ahead and let you go first, Ryan, since you wanted to do this one.
I'm going with somebody that you brought up before. It's Quinton Judkins. he is just such an integral part of that offense. Everything's based around him, and I think he's just going to be a workhorse down the line.
Yep, that is exactly the same name I have written down, and I only had one name written down. And he was the one I had. Chew, you got anybody else on your list?
I do have a couple more. He was one of the ones that I put down there. Emeka Egbuka, and really the only reason I would put him, if everyone around him was still healthy, I would have some hesitation about it. You know, Mike Evans goes down with a broken collarbone, and I really hope that, again, I know it's not like a career-ending thing, but at the point in his career, with the contract he got, you can kind of hint at the fact that he doesn't have probably much left, would be the guess. But Egbuka stepped up majorly, and with Godwin again, like you'd mentioned before, Jeff, not starting this week, and who knows when he's coming back. Got the bye week coming up, but Baker's look strong. We saw a couple of breaks in the armor recently, but it's him and Egbuka. K. Dot's going to catch some passes here or there. Rashad White's going to do what he can, but I think Egbuka, as long as the touchdowns kind of hold steady as much as they can, he could be a huge piece, and he's probably someone who had got someone to this point that they didn't think they would have otherwise been at with a good record. So.
Yeah, I'm actually in a dynasty league that I was trying to tank, and I've been starting them, and I'm like, oh, well, balling out now, so guess I'm not tanking now. All right, so that wraps up the half season awards. We're gonna go ahead and jump into our underdog prop bets.
Prop bet of the week.
All right, I mentioned it briefly at the top. I kind of teased it a little bit, saying that the prop bet of the week was for the Birds. So we're only picking players from Bird teams, and the only Bird teams playing this week are the Ravens, the Falcons, and the Eagles. So we'll pick players from that team. And Ryan, you got the first one here. Zay Flowers, higher or lower than 60.5 receiving yards? And I'm interested in this one because I have him, like I said, starting on my team because I got so many buys. So I'm hoping you say over on this one as the Ravens fan in the group here.
I really want to say over. It's so hard to not say over, especially because Lamar's supposedly back. But I'm going under on this one just because I think it's going to be a quick game script, and I don't think there's going to be as many deep opportunities for him as he's used to seeing trying to protect that hamstring for
Fair.
Lamar.
So I'm basically hedging my bets. So either I win this bet or my fantasy league.
Well, I mean, I hope we lose now off of it because of this one, but like, I'm not optimistic.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Chew, your player is going to be from the Atlanta Falcons, and we're going to be doing Bijan Robinson. And his, let me use the right keyboard here. Let's get Bijan Robinson pulled up. And his is higher or lower than 88.5 rush yards. And he gets the Miami Dolphins, who have been giving up rush yards in loads. I think they're the ones that just gave up 3 touchdowns to Judkins this past week, and they've been just giving up so much on the ground. So 88.5 is the line, Chew. Where are you going with this one?
Well, you can clip this, and if I'm wrong, it's going to be hilarious how confident I am about being this wrong. This is a trap. It's going to be under because I've learned whenever I look at the odds and I'm like, this is absolutely one side. Almost always, it's going to be the other side. I've learned that the odds makers have a job for a reason, and I'm stupid. And this could be a trick, and it actually is the one that I originally think, but that's why I try not to bet as much as possible. So thus far, he has beaten this twice from a rushing perspective, and he almost doubled it once when he beat it, and more than doubled it the other time with 143 yards in week 2, and I think it was 2 weeks ago, 170 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing for him, every other week though, he has been under that, under the 88.5. My concern with this is, regardless of game script, Tyler Algier is always involved. And especially, this Falcons defense has been putting the clamps down on a lot of different teams. They're going to just destroy the Dolphins. And I don't think maybe the score won't dictate it. I think it'll be just a lot of ball control, and they're just going to just, quarter by quarter wear them down. And I think unless Bijan's breaking off like 2 longer runs that's going to get him there, I think he's going to get 1 longer run, but ultimately that's not really his game. And it's going to be a lot of Tyler Algier, and he might get Bijan might get into like the 70s or maybe low 80s. It's going to be another one where he's so close, and it's going to be like, and that's why they put it at 88.5. So I'm going under on this one.
All right, so we're going under on 2 back-to-back props here. That's a little unusual for us. All right, so the other one,
just breeding negativity.
All right, the other one, we're going to the Philadelphia Eagles, and we are going with Saquon Barkley versus the New York Giants. And the line is higher or lower, 2.5 receptions. And I am going to be the one outlier here, and I'm going to be going higher on this one. He has only missed that mark twice this season. He's had 3 or more receptions in every game except for 2. And I'm going to bet on him getting the 3 receptions once again. I know they don't pass the ball as much as we would like them to, because you got Devontae and A.J. Brown, complaining about getting targets. And, Jalen Hurts is more prone to take off and run than he is to check it down to Barkley. But I still think they're going to find a way to get Barkley with his 3 receptions. So I'll go higher on this one. All right, so we'll drop our $5 on this. And this one is to win $30 and lock it in. And again, that's Underdog. Make your calls, hit your picks, and win big with Underdog Pick'ems. Use our promo code GF2 and get up to $1,000 in bonus bucks. That's free money to start picking and winning today. And you see how easy it is to build your lineups here, essentially. To build they don't want me to use the word parlay, but it's essentially a parlay is what it is. Super easy to use. So go there, Underdog, get the app, use our promo code GF2. Help support the show as well while you do it. So, all right, let's get to the Forgotten Fantasy Player. Hopefully Ryan didn't actually forget his Forgotten Fantasy Player.
No. He's not forgotten by me.
For GoingFor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, Ryan, you have the floor, sir.
Okay, so this player was part of his rookie year, a 3-runner attack where all 3 runners had over 500 yards. His rookie year.
Pierre
rushing yards.
All 3 players had over 300 or over 500 rushing yards.
Okay.
His rookie year and his 3rd year, same 3 people.
Pierre Thomas.
Out of those 3 years, he led the second. He led the second year for rushing yards and had 11 touchdowns.
11 touchdowns. 3-headed monsters. I'm thinking of Sean Payton teams because he always had the 3-headed monster teams. So they had, who else did they have in that backfield with Pierre Thomas? Mark Ingram was in there, but I don't think he had the 500-yard mark.
Deion Lewis.
No, this was a. So he also had 8 touchdowns 4 times in his career. So he's a 200 and over 250-pound running back.
Ooh.
So he was the Thunder and his team's Lightning.
Not Deion Lewis.
Yeah, definitely not.
The opposite.
He could
of
eat Deion
Lewis.
Lewis.
Yeah.
He was a first-round pick at the running back position, went top 20.
So that definitely puts it sort of past there. Brandon Jacobs, but I can't think of a 3rd running back in that offense, but that's my guess.
I never used the term 3 running backs.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So there was...
I made sure to say 3 people rushed for it. Never said 3 running backs.
Okay.
He was considered in a dynamic duo, a Thunder and Lightning backfield, as you would say, as the Thunder. And the Lightning player in his backfield was also in a Thunder Lightning backfield before with a much more famous big back.
Damn. All right, so I'm thinking of duos now. D'Angelo Williams.
No.
I was thinking that too.
So
the other
250 plus.
Oh yeah,
250 plus.
That's something I got to think about. 250 plus. D'Angelo Williams is not that big.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of the ones that won't give. Do you want his teams?
Sure. Or even the first team, whichever one's least obvious.
First team's the most obvious, but I'll give you all 4. Atlanta, Washington, Detroit, Seattle.
Michael Turner.
It's a good guess, but no.
You said Atlantis.
Never. Atlanta, Washington, Detroit, Seattle. He never rushed for 1,000 yards.
Washington, Detroit, and Seattle. Atlanta, Detroit. Damn, who the hell is this guy?
The quarterback who he was with in that backfield with all the great rushers, or in the rushing offense, is one of the greatest rushing quarterbacks of all time.
McVick.
Yeah. Did they call him like, who was it?
That was his teammate.
Oh, yeah.
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 But who?
Did he have a nickname like Frankenstein or something? It's like there was like a running back that they called Frankenstein. He ran like almost upright, and he was a big dude.
I don't know if there's no nicknames listed for
No,
him on
okay.
Pro Football Focus. Other teammate was worked on.
Oh,
And his best years were in Atlanta.
I am drawing a blank. I cannot
Went
think.
to Michigan State. Sorry, Jeff. I know that one won't.
Yeah. Just trying to think of.
He might as well have gone to Pluto University.
TJ Duckett.
Yep, that's it.
Oh my god!
Yes.
I thought that was before. Nice.
Yeah, I was trying to think of Falcons running backs, and I thought they called him because I live in Washington. And I remember like him coming here, and I thought that he ran sort of upright, and they called him like Frankenstein. They had like it wasn't Frankenstein, but it was like a play off of words where they called him that as a running back. But yeah, I'd have to look up that nickname. But yeah, that's a good call. I like that one.
Nice.
I've been on the big back thing last 2 times.
Yep, good deal.
That's the tough thing. You'd figure there's not that many, but it's like, well, shit, who is it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And what really threw me off in the beginning is when you were talking about rushers, I didn't catch the 3 players. Not I was thinking 3-headed running back situations, so that really threw me off. Good deal. All right, y'all. That wraps up the show tonight. We'll go around the room as always. Give us your Twitter handle, anything you want to plug. We'll go to you first, Chew.
And check me out on Twitter at Father Dynasty, and check out fatherdynasty.com, which is the Substack, as in the articles and podcast, and of course the rankings over at Fantasy Pros.
Good stuff, Ryan.
Here, Rookie Big Board, Dynasty Big Board podcast. Same old, same old.
Good stuff. As always, guys, you can follow me at Geoff Lambert 77, and I do a terrible job at this, and I'm going to have to put this in the show sheet and start doing it more often in promoting the shows that are also on my network. We've got a bunch of great shows. We got a Sunday morning show, a sit start show. So if you need some last minute advice, Jamie and Topher are there. We have the fantasy cheat sheet on Tuesday nights with a foursome of guys, and they do a great job there. We also have Speak on It, which is not fantasy football related. They do include some fantasy football in there, but they also cover other sports as well. With Matthew or with Danny Ocean and D. So yeah, if you are on our network, check out the other shows too. They're all great shows. And like I said, the Sit Start show on Sunday morning is a good one to catch if you want to get some last minute advice from the guys. They answer every question in the chat, so that your comment will not get lost in the chat. They will answer it for you. All right, for Chew, for Ryan, I'm Jeff. Good luck this week, and we'll see y'all next week.